Well, hello there, this is Binah, I don't mind. This video won't be like my normal content, but then again, when do I upload that anyway? But I wanted to offer up a theory regarding the red squares and the squares in general seen throughout Silent Hill 2, as well as the experimental videos that have been created by Team Silent. And just to insert a disclaimer here, this is by no means an exhaustive and in-depth look into the red squares, or squares in general in the Silent Hill series, but symbolism is always fun to try and work out. Don't worry, because there will be lots of tinfoil hat information here, or theories really. What's going to happen is I'm going to explore what I think is a possible relation to a planetary god, the Kabbalah, and some extras as well. Also, know that this video will be filled with spoilers for Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, and Silent Hill 3. If you wish to avoid this, then I will please ask you to skip watching this video entirely. Also, be aware that this video is most likely going to contain a lot of mispronounced words. So with that being said, let's look at the possible symbolism behind the squares in Silent Hill and the red squares as well that is particularly found in Silent Hill 2. So James stated that he needed someone to punish him for his sins. We know this to be one of the roles of Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2. But the save game squares before the last Pyramid Head battle are not so specific to anyone just glancing at them. And this is where I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat and suggest a reason behind it and the other squares found throughout the town. In Silent Hill 2, one of the famous images is here. 9 red squares sitting on a wall. You get to save your game on each and every one of them. 3x3 grids have been found often associated with magical squares, planetary magic, angelic magic, and more. And they come in more sizes than just a 3x3 grid. So why this one? I think that the red squares play their part in representing Saturn in this specific format, according to the Kabbalistic Binah spot on the Tree of Life according to Jewish mysticism. Binah's position on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is at the upper left position of the tree. It's associated mainly with the word understanding, but the words intelligence or contemplation have also been used alongside this sphere. This save point in which James has 9 red squares at his disposal, I think the entire grid could represent the planetary god Saturn. I took a few minutes to find the magical square of Saturn to place here so that you can look over it, and also added in some extra information. Saturn's magic square also contains 9 numbers in total, ranging from the digits 1 to 9. But do keep in mind that these numbers can be exempt from the square and still represent Saturn. They are often simply black in colour. This same square, seen in Silent Hill 2, can also be seen in other books relating to the occult, including Magic and Occult Primer by David Conway. And it differs its location on which version of the book you get. I think the most recent one, it's on page 167, but you can find pages of an older version where I think it's like 130 or so. But I'll put it up on the screen for you to look at. It can be seen relating to Binah on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, which is ruled planetarily by Saturn. And it's actually at the bottom of page 134 in this earlier version of the book. The Silent Hill series has been no stranger to Jewish mysticism or planetary magic in general. In Silent Hill, inside the hospital, we saw the planetary spirits represented and their associated sigils, which are known from the grimoire Arbatel on the Magic of the Ancients. This particular book pertains to ceremonial magic. The cult of Silent Hill took part heavily in ceremonial magic to bring about the birth of their god. We even see tarot cards introduced into Silent Hill 3. Heather can learn more from the About Tarot book located in the cult's library. About Tarot, as I'm sure you can imagine, discusses the tarot cards having been based on the 22 Hebrew consonants thought to represent the entire world. Ultimately, I think the squares appear to be part of the planetary spirit energies and their accompanying spheres on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The tetrahedron, one of Saturn's affiliate shapes, which represents the consciousness of Saturn, can also be seen in Pyramid Head's design. The cosmographic mystery, written by German astronomer Johannes Kepler, has a Wikipedia article which reads, "He proposed that the distance relationship between the 6 planets known at the time could be understood in terms of the 5 platonic solids, enclosed within the sphere that represents the orbit of Saturn. As seen in the image of this machine, there is the tetrahedron representing Saturn even inside the Merkaba, being a combination of 2 tetrahedrons having united. Whether or not the relationship between Pyramid Shape and the planet Saturn was intentional or not, I can't comment on. Masahiro Ito, the creator of Pyramid Head, stated he wanted a monster with its face hidden, alongside something to suggest the possibility of pain. But I just like the idea that there's possibly more to this shape than Masahiro Ito would have likened to divulge in hopes that the players may eventually figure it out. And I'll touch a little further upon this idea later. The tetrahedron also has links to the godhead of the Kabbalistic tree of life. In the Kabbalah, Binah is ruled by Saturn, and Binah is a thick darkness which veils the divine glory in which all colours are hidden, wherein there is mystery, depth, and silence, and yet it remains home to the supernal light. The supernal triad is completed. As already stated, the sphere of its operation is Shabbatai, which is the Hebrew for Saturn, or rest, and it grants forms and similitudes to chaotic matter, and it rules the sphere of action of the planet Saturn. Side note here, the supernal triad, or Godhead, is similar to the Christian depiction of Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Kabbalistic energies of Kether being the initial spark, Chokmah being the fire that extends outwards, and Binah being that which contains the flame, allowing its light to shine out but not in its destructive properties. Saturn's energy is demanding of the individual, but it's never more demanding than what the individual is capable of. His energy often invokes understanding, but only through patience and time through the hidden and unknown. This is why Binah is seen as black and dark, as all colours are hidden within the colour black. Binah is the sphere in which to seek the understanding of difficult and obscure situations. It offers answers, but only through time and perseverance. Binah is the womb of primordial form, where the idea of dualistic expression is first delineated and given boundaries upon which the source consciousness can recursively subset itself through in order to experience as innumerable permutations of self. While often seen as masculine due to its demanding nature, Binah is a feminine sphere. Chokmah, the sphere opposing Binah on the Tree of Life, is the male sphere and chaotic flame which Binah takes and then allows shine in a non-destructive way. It is from here within Binah that form is created before being birthed into Malkuth, or our world. Where 9 squares are not outright printed on the Binah sphere, the Merkaba may also be seen, 2 tetrahedrons combined, one pointing upwards and the other down. It could give reason as to why we see 2 pyramid head things mere moments after witnessing the 3x3 grid of squares prior to this confrontation. James finally came face to face with the duality within the sphere of understanding and contemplation. He had finally come to understand what had and is happening by the guiding hand of Saturn and the Kabbalistic sphere of Binah. So, why the colour red? The squares are always red, just as the 10 cult symbols are red. It's a holy colour to the cult's god, black being the other. In Silent Hill 3 we can learn more about the cult's holy colours, where it also states blue being a curse upon God and must never be used. Silent Hill has connections to American Indian spirituality due to land being built upon a sacred place, as Mary can be heard stating on the tape recording James had made at the hotel. American Indians have associated the colour red with faith, beauty, and happiness, but also as blood and violence in times of needing to don facial war paint. The colour black, on the other hand, is given the meaning of victory and success, or power, aggression, and strength, again in wearing facial war paint. However, in the occult, red can represent fire, the emotions, power, war, lust, passion, and even death. Even though Saturn's colour is normally black, Saturn is also associated with the colour red under the influence of Mars. One reason the colour blue could be seen as unholy to the town's cult is due to the planetary god Jupiter having associations with the color blue. Jupiter, according to myth, was needed to prevent Saturn from eating all of his own children, as a child had previously made Saturn privy to one inheriting his throne as king. Therefore, Jupiter was called, where he devised a plan involving Saturn eating a tablet, which resulted in him vomiting up his children which he had eaten. Saturn's son, Zeus, eventually came to inherit the throne of his father and banished Saturn to Tartarus in the end. Please also note that Jupiter and Zeus are considered to be the same deity. Perhaps when James would look at these squares, the planetary energies were able to manifest within him and have an effect on his mind as a result. Maybe this is why he felt like someone was groping around inside his skull. Binah was forcing James to embark on his journey in two ways. Physically, by exploring the town of Silent Hill, but also embarking on the journey of inner discovery, in which Binah can be extremely demanding on the person. This sphere can truly wreck the unprepared student entering it. Saturn is also associated with limitations, hard lessons, depression, preference to solitude, greed, and obstacles. He is seen as the most malefic of the planetary energies in astrology, but also as the oldest in addition. His seat on the Tree of Life leads him to be closest to the divine glory. I also think that this is why we see the all-important 3x3 grid in red prior to the final battle against the dualistic form of Pyramid Head. The Merkaba can be seen within the sphere of Binah, which is a combination of two triangles or tetrahedrons, one facing upwards and the other downwards as previously discussed. The tetrahedrons have been united within the sphere, the pyramid head things. James had truly reached Binah, come to the heart of understanding, and it was time for him to not only express his understanding, but to overcome the hardships and strife associated with this sphere. So that's my opinion and theory, and it's probably completely wrong. Though I would just like to believe that the 3x3 grid does have links to the planetary pairs of Saturn and of Binah here. Thus the red squares we find scattered throughout the second installment of the series being linked to this planetary energy. It's also worth noting again that Team Silent had produced experimental videos in which we could see black squares going throughout the videos, and that's a common representation of the god Saturn. For anyone who has, or may not even have, more information regarding this topic, I would be very much interested in hearing your thoughts and opinions. The symbolism and depth to which this series goes into is extremely fun to poke around with. With that being said, thank you for watching and listening this far if you have. Vinata out.